My name is Isabel Wan, and this is my reading report presentation on the smartest kids in the world and how they got that way by Amanda Ripley. Now, before we get into my reading report, I want to first introduce a brief summary of Chapter 8, Differences. So this chapter starts off by talking about Kim, who's from Oklahoma, and her experiences living abroad in Finland. She got that living away from her split family and finding a new place was what would help her get a new life and get away from the person she was back at home. However, after seeing all the children so close-knit and looking similar to one another, she felt very left out. She felt indifferent, basically feeling the same way she felt when she was back at home. And in this, we can see the cultural and racial diversity that can affect students in any environment they're put into. As we continue on, the meaning of diversity varies from country to country, with some defining it as a big deal within society, while others see no difference between appearances and economic standings. The difference between how school is run in several countries affects students, and diversity in the U.S. is mostly related to race, unlike Finland, which was a homogeneous place with few immigrants and racial minorities. They put their priorities in different places compared to the U.S., and as a result of this, we see how diversity could raise or lower test scores. In this chart, we can see how relatively low the U.S. proficiency level is in mathematical literacy for 15-year-olds in 2012 compared to Finland. A lot of students face poverty in the U.S., thus affecting their chances of receiving similar education to other students who don't face poverty, which leads us to my argument. Diversity is viewed differently in other countries, and as a result, that can affect the way students learn. The U.S. education system should learn from other countries and apply it to their own system to help the students progress further, instead of being so close-minded with their beliefs in the education system and society. Now, the U.S. believed that it was poverty that the schools, and not the schools, that affected children, as said by Diane Ravchik in the book, Kids Were Not All the Same and the Differences Preceded Them. However, in Finland, Vorian said, wealth doesn't mean a thing, it's your brain that counts. We can see a vast distinction in opinions and beliefs from two different countries, and it shows how culturally unalike we are when it comes to education. Every student is different, therefore what truly matters is not what the best solution is for them, but how you can create the best solution for them. There have been many studies and researches on how to improve the American education system, and it still proves to be a struggle as not everyone believes in the same ideals. In Singapore, they had a diverse population as well, with 77% Chinese, 14% Malay, 8% Indian, and 1.5% other, with the additional factors of different religions and languages. Even then, the policymakers have made it clear that segregation is forbidden, and as a result of that, the PISA scores between immigrants and natives had no score gap like Finland and Korea, unlike America, where the score gap was 22 points. In addition, the biggest issue with diversity in the U.S. was that there was no actual diversity. There's a lack of equity and equality in the U.S., ironic, as it is one of the most diverse countries in the nation. The lack of equity in the education system is what affects the U.S. the most, and in Finland, they teach equality, autonomy, and equity, which means that every single child there could not only have a life, but an education as well. Finland had embedded equality even in the special education department, and the importance of equity is what builds the education system. And as a result of that, the gap of test scores depends highly on what countries did for their students. So I believe that the U.S. can improve themselves regarding the education process for students by implementing stricter regulations in selecting teachers and also motivating them to perform well. And ways to do that is 1, money, and respect. The amount of respect given to a teacher will allow them to feel trusted and feel like they can trust higher administration, like the principal. It's important for the staff to be able to feel comfortable and reliant, because that will build not only their morale, but student morale. In addition, how well a student will perform in school should not be determined by segregations, and schools should give reassurance to immigrant parents about their children being able to survive well in school without feeling left out or different from the rest of their peers. Now, with that being said, I stand my ground on the beliefs that America's education system can improve only if everyone is willing to work together for the better of the new generations to come and use influences from other countries to implement in our own educational fields. Coming from my own personal experiences, diversity was huge in my school, and sometimes being in the minority as an Asian American, I felt like I didn't belong. In addition to the lack of good teachers who were willing to put their dedication to teaching us, I felt behind from my peers sometimes. The responsibilities of individuals in society is important in the educational field, like providing the right resources and giving them the right amount of attention. We must be able to uphold our own responsibilities in order to improve the learning ethics and help our students receive the education they deserve. So, with that being said, that is the end of my presentation. I hope that you were able to get a better understanding of not only the book itself, but like how education and its importance to society is. Thank you.